Okay, so if you've been watching my channel a while, you know I cover a lot of the news about the SAG-AFTRA strike and the WGA strike. And a couple weeks ago, I went after Stephen Amell, who played Green Arrow in the CW Arrowverse, how he was breaking SAG-AFTRA rules by promoting his show. And I went pretty hard on him. And well, he's not exactly like an A-lister, but tell you who is a massive celebrity. Does anybody know Drew Barrymore? You know, little tiny minor character. She was in E.T. and she was the first person killed in Scream, and you know, she's done a whole bunch of stuff. Well, currently she is doing a talk show called The Drew Barrymore Show, I think. I could be wrong on the exact name of it, but that show, even though the writers are on strike, is still going on. Drew Barrymore slammed by Hollywood for bringing talk show back amid strikes. Gross, scab, incredibly disappointing. All of those quotes. Drew Barrymore is being criticized by fellow actors and writers on social media for her decision to bring back her eponymous daytime talk show amid the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. The Drew Barrymore Show is set to return September 18th. While Barrymore is not violating SAG-AFTRA rules as the host of the show, guild contracts for talk shows, game shows, variety shows, and soap operas were renewed and ratified in 2022, her show does employ WGA writers. This means new episodes of The Drew Barrymore Show will have to utilize either violating WGA members, non-WGA writers, or no one. Spokesperson for CBS's Media Ventures told Variety the show will not be performing any writing work covered by the WGA strike. That's a lie, because that's not possible. Because if it's a WGA show, then anything said on the show as part of a segment that's not like an interview, just a general conversation, all of that has to be written by someone. Even if that someone is Drew Barrymore herself, if she is doing that on a WGA show, then she's scabbing for the WGA. A lot of this is just gathering like social media reactions from other people. Like, I don't know who this is, but they've got a Writers Guild avatar. We've got Felicia Day saying, so who is writing her opening monologue and literally everything else on the show when it starts up again next week? Scab writers? Gross. Drew Barrymore, gross. Adam Conover is stepping in on it. Bradley Whitford. Oh yeah, Drew Barrymore says I own this choice. We're in compliance with not discussing or promoting film and television that is struck of any kind. Okay, that's great for SAG-AFTRA, but you're still crossing the picket line for the WGA. And it's not just that she's ignorant of the rules here, okay? It's not that she is like pretending that she's in solidarity with the WGA and she just wants her crew to still get paid. No. Drew Barrymore Show audience members say they were kicked out for Writers Guild support amid picket. The talk show resumed taping without its 3 WGA writers Monday as picketers demonstrated outside of CBS studios. Writers Guild of America members and scribes for the Drew Barrymore Show picketed outside CBS studios in New York on Monday as the daytime talker resumed filming amid the writers and actors strikes. 2 audience members who had signed up for free tickets to the taping were handed WGA pins by picketers as they walked in the door and said they were asked to leave before the show began because they were wearing the pins. Dominic Terezik and Cassidy Carter, 2 New York City-based students, planned to attend the show after signing up for free tickets about a week and a half ago, not aware that the strike was going on. As they walked into the building Monday, both were handed buttons from picketers that read Writers Guild on strike. The 2 said they were asked to take off the buttons at security, to which Carter complied. Terezik was still wearing his button as they entered the studio space. He said a crew member spotted the button and asked them both to leave. It is our policy to welcome everyone to our show tapings. Due to heightened security concerns today, we regret that 2 audience members were not permitted to attend or were not allowed access. Drew was completely unaware of the incident, and we are in the process of reaching out to the affected audience members to offer them new tickets, a spokesperson for the Drew Barrymore Show wrote in a statement to THR. The 2 later joined the picket lines outside, donning WGA shirts, as Terezik said, if they think we're part of the strike, we might as well be. Carter added that she had signed up for tickets as a fan of Barrymore, but now has been disheartened by the experience. Truly has changed my perspective on her and the show in general, Carter said. I've been completely alarmed and disheartened by the whole process. And here's the tweet from Dominic Terezik himself. Went to Drew Barrymore TV, that's the Drew Barrymore Show, after winning tickets, unaware of the WGA strike. We took pins and went in, got kicked out, and verbally assaulted by Drew Barrymore's crew. It's clear they don't support WGA strong, writers or fans. Hashtag Drew the right thing, so we I don't know, oh, Drew the right thing, right. That must be the new hashtag for Drew Barrymore. Again, I'm just learning about this now, so we took shirts and joined, fuck that. For clarification, we knew about the WGA strike, just not that they were picketing at Drew's show. We were unaware until Inside that her show had WGA writers, thus crossing picket lines by starting again. We won the tickets last minute and didn't do enough research clearly. I don't blame the average person for not knowing, all of the details. Like, this is kind of why I'm here. I want to make sure that we're looking at this stuff and figuring out what is and is not permitted. Like, I actually stressed for quite a bit about doing reviews amid the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, particularly when SAG-AFTRA had a page talking about what influencers were and weren't allowed to do when it wasn't clear that that page was for SAG-AFTRA influencers. So there's a lot of confusion out there. I don't blame people for not realizing that a show picking up, assuming, Drew Barrymore tends to have a fairly progressive attitude. I think she had, Dylan Mulvaney on her show a couple months back. So I can understand somebody going, oh, well, she must have had it worked out and everything. Just so that we have a better understanding of what exactly was being struck. Here we have David Slack. He's a TV writer currently on strike. I wonder what he's worked on. He's got 34,000 followers. But anyway, he explains here, people are understandably confused about how Drew Barrymore could be scabbing against the WGA and not against SAG-AFTRA. So let's take this opportunity to increase our union literacy. Unions are complicated. They come in all shapes and sizes and can operate in a variety of different ways. For example, both the WGA and SAG-AFTRA are called guilds rather than unions because they represent independent contractors instead of employees. Within one union, there can be different bargaining units. A bargaining unit is a group of workers who negotiate together. The WGA has separate bargaining units for news writers and new media journalists. But all of our film and TV writers are covered under a single bargaining unit that includes daytime soaps, game shows, and talk shows. SAG-AFTRA has a number of separate bargaining units. For example, they have separate negotiations and contracts for commercials, broadcasting, and video games, which they're presently taking a strike authorization vote about. Give them hell, Fran. Yep, I just covered that. Actually, that video came out yesterday. So, SAG-AFTRA has one contract called Netcode that covers soaps, game shows, and talk shows. This contract was last negotiated in 2022 and is still in effect. SAG-AFTRA members working on those shows are not on strike under this contract. So, Drew is allowed to go on a talk show. But as we all know, SAG-AFTRA members covered under the TV, theatrical, and streaming contract are very much on strike. Adding to the potential confusion, many SAG-AFTRA members like Drew Barrymore are employed under multiple contracts. If she does a TV ad for shampoo right now, that's fine. SAG-AFTRA's commercial contract is in effect, and members are not on strike. If she tried to do a movie for Paramount right now, that's not fine. SAG-AFTRA's TV, theatrical, streaming contract is expired, and they're on strike. So, Drew Barrymore's talk show is covered under SAG-AFTRA's Netcode contract, which is not on strike. As long as she doesn't promote any of her old movies on the show, she's not violating SAG-AFTRA's TV and theatrical and streaming strike. However, and it's a big however, the Drew Barrymore show is covered under the WGA's film and TV contract, which we call our MBA. So while Drew Barrymore is not a WGA member, her show employs WGA writers who are currently out on strike. While the opening monologues, jokes, and interviews on talk shows may seem spontaneous, a huge amount of writing work goes into every episode. I mean, if it didn't, does anybody really think the studios would pay for writers they didn't need? By going back on the air without her writers, Drew Barrymore is 100% ensuring that someone, either herself, one of her non-writing producers, or all of the above, will be doing the writing work that WGA writers normally do. Which brings us to perhaps the most important term that every union member should know, scab. Any worker who takes a striking worker's place on the job is called a scab. A worker who refuses to join a labor union or to participate in a union strike who takes a striking worker's place on the job, or the like. So, by returning to work on her talk show, Drew Barrymore is not violating SAG-AFTRA strike rules, but if she goes through with this tomorrow, she will absolutely be violating the WGA strike rules, and those rules do apply to non-members. It has long been the WGAW and WGAE policy, that's West and East, to ban from future membership any non-member who performs writing services for struck companies, what is commonly known as scab writing. This policy has been strictly enforced and has resulted in convincing many would-be strikebreakers to refrain from harming the guilds and their members during a strike. It is important for you to report to the guilds the name of any non-member you believe has performed writing services for a struck company and as much information as possible about the non-member services. While it's doubtful that Drew Barrymore cares about being banned from joining the WGA, it's a safe bet she cares about her reputation, and I hope she cares about her writers. It'd be heartbreaking to have someone you know and trust step in to take your job while you're on strike. So, and then the rest of this is calling for Drew Barrymore to do the right thing and not continue her show. I have liked a lot of what Drew Barrymore has done. honestly, I liked Stephen Amell before he did his thing. But you can't be a scab. You have to have solidarity. And I think her rationalization is that she wants to make sure that the other crew members get paid too, which, yeah, that would be good for them to get paid too. But there are strike funds that are going out and giving money to IATSE members as well as SAG and WGA, because IATSE, even though they are not currently on strike, they're kind of out of work. With no writers and no actors to do anything, there's only so much pre-production that you can actually do on new shows. So anything for like actual operating of sets on the day, none of that's happening. You've got set builders and like costumers and stuff, but I mean, even like a costumer, you can't work on the actor because they're not there. So yeah, a lot of those people, they are in fact low on work, and that's what strike funds are for. That's not what strike breaking is for, Drew. So call off the show. Lucky Otter says IATSE. Yeah, IATSE is the that is the guild in Hollywood that covers basically all of your crew, like costumers and makeup artists and cameramen and all that other stuff. Yeah, basically, unless you are if you're not a writer, director, or actor in Hollywood, but you're working on movies, either you're VFX and you're not in a guild at all, or you're in IATSE. Anyway, Drew, you should do the right thing. If not, I don't know, that's a shitty way to end your legacy.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons with a special shout out to Piftle Cakes and Ryan D. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.